and thanks for inviting me over here. For all of those who are not aware of Office of Principal Scientific Advisor, Dr. Abdul Kalam was our first Principal Scientific Advisor, and now we have Professor Ajay Sood, who has the very famous Sood effect. He is from Indian Institute of Science. So this office largely works with 9 ministries. It's also the Cabinet Secretariat to the Prime Minister's office, and also works with industry and academia as well as startups now. It's been a couple of years since we've started this new division called the Strategic Alliances Division, which I lead. Manthan, as almost all of you would know, means ideas, churning of ideas. But here we are looking at how the ideas can actually go to from the lab to the field, and especially so when it comes to agriculture technologies. During the pandemic, we had about 300 plus innovations related to the pandemic coming to our office, and we had several industries and several stakeholders who were interested in helping during the pandemic, and we had absolutely no clue how to organize all of this, how to evaluate these innovations, how to go to the academia, how to request the industries to fund the academia and so on, because we did not have a platform of this nature at that juncture. And hence what we did was, we did several calls, we did all of it offline. Of course, we managed to do a lot of BS2 labs, ventilators, oxygen concentrators, mask, PPE, and all of that, thanks to the startups, but as well as academia. But I thought that it is high time that we had a platform of this nature. And hence, from the pandemic, we have extrapolated all of this to now working on water, waste management, renewable energy, agriculture, and all the SDGs that are relevant to India, and also looking at emerging technologies like blockchain, semiconductors, defense microprocessors, and all of that. So this platform is not limited to agriculture, but it has a whole host of innovations, and people can engage with academia and startups through this platform. And the URL is available there. It's called Manthan at the Govt.in. And this is where you have about 3 or 4 large pillars, and which is very, very important for the startups as well as the academicians here to know, and of course the industries who are providers. The first pillar is the opportunities pillar. In this pillar, you largely look at the number of industries, central government as well as state governments and international organizations who come and provide their opportunities. Those opportunities could be research related, problem statements with funding, it could be innovations or call for innovations, it could also be consumables as well as products that the industries would like to give through their CSR for research as well as innovation. The second pillar, which is again a very important pillar, is the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, several organizations today, and especially the academia and startups, have a lot of support that they require. So they can host their proposals for R&D, they can host their proposals for innovations, as well as centers of excellence that they would like to set up in this particular pillar. And this is how the industries fish for these proposals and see how they can support it and so on. The third pillar is again central government as well as state government. In fact, Ministry of the Department of Animal Husbandry has come forward and given some research problems with funding, and that's been hosted, and some of these challenges also will be hosted on the platform so that the institutes as well as startups have access to it. As on today, we have about 5,000 plus institutes as well as about 75,000 startups who get access to this platform, and it's of course free of cost for people who are interested in pitching their proposals to industries for funding. Of course, organizations like Startup India, Invest India, all the incubators of IITs, ICARs, agriculture universities, we have research labs from DBT, DST, and all of them as part of this story so that they are able to access more and more industry offers as well as central government and state government offers, and of course international as well. The third pillar here is about events and exhibitions. So one could ask for an exhibition of innovation here If the proposals are interesting, they could choose those proposals and then request for an innovation. And the last pillar, of course, is on international engagements and central government proposals, which means that any international organization can call for innovations, they can do startup matchmaking, they could also look at setting up centers of excellence in our institutes. For instance, there are several US companies who are interested, and they have funded a lot of renewable energy, water, waste management, sanitation in IIT Palakkad, in TERI, IIT Dharwad, and so on. So some of the newer institutes as well as tier 2 and tier 3 colleges also gain out of that. And then finally, of course, there is central government, and there are 23 ministries. About 10 of them have already started putting up these proposals. Just for information, this is hardly a 6 months old platform. We have already got the Dun & Bradstreet Award for this. We've also got about 2,600 crores funding through industries and central government towards academia as well as startups. And that is the kind of focus, and about 300 projects which have been completed. And you get all the success stories here so that the industries also know what they can fund. Lastly, from the Office of PSA, we have also added 2 elements to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs Schedule 7, which is using your CSR for research and using your CSR to incubate startups. Thank you, and Jai Hind.